Only on CBS this morning. New York City Police Commissioner James O'Neill is here today to discuss his decision to fire the officer who put Eric Garner in a deadly chokehold 5 years ago. That video, very hard to watch. It shows Officer Daniel Pantaleo bringing Garner to the ground after officers said that he resisted arrest for selling loose cigarettes. The Staten Island District Attorney and the Department of Justice decided not to charge Pantaleo with a crime. Police union criticized O'Neill's decision to fire him, saying the commissioner, quote, has chosen politics and his own self-interest over the police officers that he claims to lead. Pantaleo's attorney told CBS News he now plans to sue the commissioner to get his job back. Commissioner James O'Neill joins us at the table this morning. Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Good morning.
Certainly under these circumstances. Listen, watching your news conference the other day, it was very clear to those watching. It's a painful decision for you. Clearly a lot of thought went into that decision. And I'm wondering how you reached it, especially since after two other organizations had decided that there would be no charges.
It was a difficult decision. As I said on Monday, I've been a cop a long time. I was a uniformed cop for 34 years. And Danny Pantaleo was right where we told him to be. The lieutenant sent him there. It was difficult, but it was based on the work, the trial, the evidence, testimony that the Deputy Commissioner of Trials, Maldonado, put forth her decision, which was affirmed by the first Deputy Commissioner. And after I looked at all the evidence, that was the decision that I made, and I think that was the one that had to be made.
Why did it take the NYPD 5 years to act on this?
So there's initially was the Staten Island grand jury did not indict Officer Pantaleo, and through conversations with the Department of Justice, they asked us to hold off on moving forward with our administrative trial.
You were asked to pause.
Yes. And then in the summer of 2018, they said we could go ahead. They gave us the green light to go ahead.
But was there a middle ground maybe here, Commissioner, that because many officers are upset that he's losing his job, number one, and certainly losing his pension. Was there a way that he could have lost the job but still kept the pension?
Yeah, there
were you sending a message?
There were all possible outcomes. Now, I'm not sending a message. Right? We have to, our job is to keep everybody in this city safe. My job is to keep all 8.6 million New Yorkers safe. My job is to keep all 36,000 cops safe. The message is that there's accountability in the NYPD. That's what the message is. Now, if the PBA has been very vocal in their criticism of me, which is fine. My skin was very thin when I started this job 3 years ago. It's not so thin anymore. Now, this is what Patty does. He thinks this is the way, the proper way, right, to represent his membership. But my job is to protect everybody in this city.
Not just vocal. They say you betrayed them. Yes. They're calling for a vote of no confidence for you. How do you lead the troops that appear not to have confidence in you and are clearly very angry with you?
Yeah. So this is, and again, coming out of wearing a uniform for such a long time, it is difficult to hear. They may vote. I think the PBA delegate body is going to take a vote on no confidence, but I have all the confidence in the world in the men and women of the NYPD that they'll continue to do their job. The reason why they took this job is to make the difference and to keep people safe. They didn't do it for the sense of appreciation. They certainly didn't do it for the amount of money they get paid.
Did you anticipate this reaction when you were making this decision?
I've had 5 years to think about this. I was the chief of patrol when this happened. I became the chief of department in November of 2014. I was there every day for the protest. I was at Woodhull Hospital when Joe Liu and Rafael Ramos were murdered. I've been thinking about this for 5 years, and I know every possible outcome, and I also know how people would feel whatever decision that I made.
Did Mayor de Blasio play a role in this decision in July during the debate? He said out loud that the Garner family will get justice. Were you making this decision to placate the boss?
No, this is my decision. The police commissioner, I do have a boss, yes, but I get final say on disciplinary matters.
Eric Garner's mother calls this crumbs of justice. There are 4 other officers in that video. No one steps in. There's also a supervisor who was very closely nearby. Are there going to be repercussions for those other 4? Could something happen to that supervisor?
So there were a number of people that responded to that job immediately after this incident. Internal Affairs took a look at it. They took a look at everybody's actions. They interviewed dozens of police officers. They interviewed dozens of civilian witnesses. There is no disciplinary action taken against all except Sergeant Adonis.
This is where it ends.
This is where it ends. We negotiated a settlement with Sergeant Adonis yesterday, and I think Ed Mullins from the SBA is going to have a press conference about that this morning.
Pantaleo is suing to get his job back. He's announcing he's going to sue.
That's within his rights. Stu London is it's Civil Service Law, Article 78.
The chokehold that he used was banned in 1993. Do you think there's a fault in the training to any degree that should have prevented this?
I don't think there's a fault in the training. So I don't know if any of you have ever tried to handcuff anyone.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It is this situation was a matter of 9 seconds, 10 seconds. This is where my experience as a uniformed cop comes in. I've had to handcuff. It's a very difficult thing to try to do, is to try to handcuff someone that's not complying.
Yeah.
It happened quickly, but it happened.
You said that Garner should not have resisted arrest, but Pantaleo should have relaxed.
Yeah, so what I said was that every time I look at that video, and I've seen it not hundreds, probably thousands of times, as soon as it starts, I say, Mr. Garner, don't do it, don't comply. And then when Officer Pantaleo goes in to lock him up, I say, don't do it.
I'm curious, Commissioner, how this has affected you personally. I know we've got to wrap it up, but I am curious about the toll it's taken on you and how you intend to move forward.
This is part of the job. You know, I knew this going in. I knew from day one as police commissioner that slowly but surely my reputation would be chipped away at. I understand that.
Yeah.
I have to make decisions that are good for the whole city, not just for the police department.
You knew someone was not going to be happy with this decision, very unhappy.
Absolutely. And, you know, many sleepless nights, but it's not about me. It's about keeping the city safe. And it's about the cops that are out there right now on patrol,
You think
keeping the city
makes
safe.
the city safer and your officers safer?
I think the decision I made was the right decision, and I think that the men and women of the NYPD will continue to keep crime at record lows. And Patty Lynch is doing what he thinks he needs to do for the membership, but he also has to be careful that he doesn't destroy their confidence.
And
just look at where we are in this city right now. Look at 25 years ago, and look at where we are now. And we got that way because of the sacrifice of the men and women of this great police department.
And if you came into the job 3 years ago with thin skin, you do not have that thin skin anymore. Commissioner O'Neill, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Maybe a little bit. Go easy on the good.
Maybe a little.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner.